All right, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make the inverse T program. The inverse T program, if you know the area to the left under a T distribution, a particular value for T, if you know the area to the left, you can find out what the T value is. So we use this for finding critical values and so on. So if you have an older calculator, then you don't have this inverse T function already. If you have a newer calculator, then you can do inverse T. It's on the distribution menu. So we just go second, distribution. We see inverse T is number 4 on the list there. But like I said before, if you have an older calculator, then you don't have that. We need to enter in 2 pieces of information, the area to the left, say 0.30, and then comma, and then the degrees of freedom. Let's say we have 5 degrees of freedom. And so then we just hit enter, and it tells us what the z-score, or the t-score is, rather. So negative 0.55, et cetera, et cetera. But like I said, if you have an older calculator, then you don't have that program already on your calculator. So we need to enter that in ourselves. And so to make a program, we first go to the program menu, and then we'll go over to new. Now you'll notice that I have my key press history showing on the right. So if I move too fast at all, or if you make a mistake or need to rewind a little bit, of course you can rewind the video, but if you want, you can just press pause, and then you can kind of backtrack on my key press history to see what I did. So we want to go over to new, and we're going to create new here. And so we'll enter in the program name. I'm just going to name mine inverse T. Now you'll notice that the cursor is a flashing letter A. That means it's on alpha lock. That means the buttons that I push will be the letters. So it's just like pressing alpha before each one. So we're going to type in the name INVT. So IN. Notice that it automatically keeps the alpha version, the alpha button. It's kind of like pressing shift on your keyboard and holding it down while you enter in the numbers, or the letters rather. And we'll just hit enter. Now notice that my cursor is back to normal. So the first thing we need to do is input the area to the left. So the input function is on the program menu under IO, which stands for input and output. We're going to input. Now I need to type in a bunch of characters, and so I'm going to go ahead and turn the alpha lock on. So I'll go second and then alpha, and notice that it's a flashing letter A. So the quotation marks are right here above the plus button, and then I just type in area, A-R-E-A, and then the space is right above the 0 button here, space, left. So area left, L-E-F-T, and then I'm going to put a little colon on there, which is right above the decimal point button, and then the quotes. Now to turn off the alpha lock, I just press alpha again, and then notice that the cursor goes back to normal. So then I'll go comma, and then alpha A. And so that's so I can input the area, and it's going to store it in the letter A under the variable A. So now we'll go to do the same thing, program, IO, input, and we'll do the same thing for DF, for degrees of freedom. So I go second alpha to turn the alpha lock on, quotes, and then DF, colon, and then another quotation marks, and then I turn the alpha off and go comma, alpha D, enter. So that's how I can enter the degrees of freedom. Next, we're going to do 1, and then this little arrow is the store button. We use that if we want to save a value into a variable. So I go store, and then alpha S, so that just takes the number 1 and stores it in S. And then I'm going to say if A is less than 0.5. So I go under program to find the if. It's right there at the top of the first page, which is CTL, which stands for control. So if alpha A, and then the less than is on the test menu, which is just above the math button here. So test, scroll down to the less than 0.5, enter. Then we want to put then, which is under program, and we see that it is on the second one on the list there. So then, enter. And then if A was less than 0.5, that means that our area was to the left of the mean, which means we need negative t-scores. And so we want to make S negative. So let's go -1, store alpha S. You don't necessarily need to understand how this program works. You just need to enter it in. But I will include some of the explanation for those of you who are interested in that. So let's do the end now. So it's under program. We see that's the 7th one down. So I could use the arrow keys to scroll down to end, or I could just press 7 and it'll automatically jump down there for me. Now, this ABS stands for absolute value. It's under the math menu under num. We can see that it's the top option there. So absolute value 2 times alpha A minus 1, parentheses, and then we want to store that in A, so store alpha A. We're just about done. Now the T interval is under the stat tests menu, and it's down here just below the Z interval, I think. We don't need to really, we'll be learning how to use the T interval function, but for now we're just typing it into our calculator, 0, comma, and then square root. And then notice it puts the first parentheses in there for me. So I'll go alpha D plus 1, parentheses, comma, and then another parentheses, alpha D plus 1 again, parentheses. It's important that you get all those parentheses in there. So maybe after you're done typing in this line, alpha A, then before you go on to the next one, just do a quick check here to make sure that you've entered everything in correctly. Okay, mine looks good. Now we want to display, which is on the program menu under IO. We see display as the 3rd option down. Now this upper is under vars and then under statistics. So we go down to statistics, and then it's under test. And we'll scroll down. It's a little ways down, I think, so we'll have to scroll through a few of these. These are just different. Some of these look familiar. And there's upper. It's option I. So we'll do upper times alpha S. All right, so our program is complete. So we go second quit, and that brings us back to this main screen. Now, to run the program, we just press program, and now we see inverse T right there on my list under exec, which stands for execute. And so we'll just select inverse T. It's the only one I have on there right now. And so then it brings up program inverse T. So then I hit enter to run it, and it asks me area left. So let's type in the same information we have up here. Here's the answer I should be getting. We'll see if I get the same answer. So we'll go 0.30. Enter, and then degrees of freedom we said was 5, and there we go, and it looks like I got the exact same answer. So if you want to test your program, put in 0.30 for the area left, put in degrees of freedom of 5, and if you get this exact same answer, then you probably did it right. So if you don't get that answer, then you're going to want to go back through your program and just double check everything. Make sure that it matches everything we have on the left side here. Otherwise, have fun playing with that.